The corridors of the Today Show studio buzzed with the usual. Early morning chaos, camera operators, adjusting lenses, producers whispering into headsets, and makeup artists making last-second touch-ups. Gwen Stefani stood calmly in the green room, sipping herbal tea while reviewing the rundown for the segment. She had been on hundreds of shows, but today felt different, heavier somehow. Her publicist Laura leaned in. Just the usual questions. New music, your fashion collab, and the tour. Nothing out of line. Gwen nodded, smoothing the lace sleeve of her white jacket. But as she walked toward the stage, she noticed a ripple of tension. Two producers were arguing in low voices. A cue sheet had been changed last minute. Gwen didn't think much of it. Live shows always had surprises. The host, Daniel Reeves, greeted her with a bright smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Cameras rolled, lights hit full brightness, and the countdown sounded through the studio floor. "Gwen Stefani is with us today," Daniel announced. Pop icon, businesswoman, and recently, a headline magnet. Gwen raised an eyebrow. That wasn't on the rundown, but she kept her composure. They started with harmless questions, her new single, her creative process, her skincare routine. She relaxed. Maybe she had overthought it. Then Daniel shuffled his cards dramatically. "Now, Gwen, we can't ignore what everyone's talking about. The rumors, the marriage trouble, the industry criticism, the online backlash." The audience shifted. Gwen's smile faded. She hadn't agreed to discuss personal matters, especially not in such a sensational tone. "Daniel," she said slowly, "I'm here to talk about my work." But he leaned forward. "So you're refusing to address the accusations?" Gwen froze, sensing the trap closing. Around her, the room felt suddenly smaller, hotter, and unmistakably hostile. The studio felt quieter than any live audience should. Gwen's heart beat fast, but she kept her posture straight, refusing to reveal discomfort. Daniel continued, voice sharper now. "Some critics say your latest performances show a decline, that you've lost authenticity. How do you respond to that?" Gwen blinked. Of all things, he went for the wounds she kept hidden. She had poured her soul into her music, into every reinvention, every stage moment. "Critics are entitled to opinions," she said carefully. "But my fans know my heart and—" Daniel cut her off. "And about the rumors involving Blake Shelton? The tabloids say you two are splitting. Is that why you're avoiding personal questions?" The words crashed through the studio. Gasps rippled across the audience. Gwen felt her chest tighten, not because of the rumors, but because of the blatant ambush on live television. She tried to maintain dignity. "My marriage isn't a circus for ratings." "I'd appreciate if—" Daniel smirked. "But the public deserves transparency, right? Especially when a star walks around pretending everything's perfect." That was the breaking point. Gwen's cheeks grew hot, not with shame, but with fury. She glanced at her publicist off camera. Laura stood stiff, eyes wide with silent apology. "Daniel," Gwen said, her voice steady but trembling beneath. "This interview is disrespectful. You invited me here under false pretenses. I'm not here to be humiliated." The host shrugged, pretending innocence. "Just doing my job." "No," Gwen replied sharply. "Doing your job doesn't mean tearing people apart." She unclipped her mic. The studio crew panicked. Camera angles shifted. Red lights blinked, whispers erupted. Gwen stood, smoothing her jacket with deliberate calm. "I'm done here." Then, in front of the live national audience, she walked off the stage, leaving Daniel speechless and the studio stunned. Back in the hallway, Gwen's heels clicked with a controlled rhythm, anger powering every step. Her publicist rushed behind her. "Gwen, wait, let's go to the dressing room." "No," Gwen said firmly. "We're leaving." Producers scrambled after her, apologizing breathlessly. "Gwen, please. We didn't authorize those questions. Daniel went off script. We can cut the segment." But Gwen didn't stop. The damage was done. She had been blindsided on national television, treated like a headline instead of a human being. Outside, photographers swarmed the moment she exited the building. "Gwen, why did you walk off? Are the rumors true? Is this about Blake?" She ignored them, sliding into the black SUV waiting at the curb. As the door closed, the noise faded, replaced by the steady hum of the engine. Laura exhaled shakily. "I'm so sorry. They promised. They really promised." Gwen rubbed her forehead. "It's not your fault. That host wanted a viral moment, and he got it, but not in the way he expected. Within an hour, clips of her walking out began circulating online, but the public reaction swung wildly in her favor. Comments flooded social media. Good for her. That host was out of line. She handled it with class. By afternoon, the Today Show released an official apology. By evening, Daniel Reeves's name trended for all the wrong reasons. Gwen sat in her home studio, finally breathing easily. She picked up her notebook and wrote a few raw, powerful lines, lyrics sparked by the day's events. Pain, betrayal, resilience, and the strength to walk away from disrespect. She smiled to herself. Sometimes humiliation becomes fuel. Sometimes walking off is the real performance. And Gwen Stefani had just delivered one the world wouldn't forget.